UFC welterweight contender Vicente Luque. What's going on, Vicente? How's life in Brazil?
What's up, man? All good. Training good. I mean, it's hard with everything that is going on around the world, but I'm keeping safe and family is good, so can't complain.
How are you keeping safe? Because recently, before the Fight Island events, there was a lot of Brazilian fighters that tested positive. So, what are the precautions you're taking?
Yeah, I mean, I got like for training, which is the big thing, how I could train, right? I got two guys that are training with me, and all they do is train with me and go home. So, and I do the same thing. So I go there, train, and make sure that I don't go anywhere else. And my strength and conditioning coach, he has a gym at home. He built it like during this time with everything that is going on. He decided to do that. So also I'm training over there, which is a much safer environment. And overall, I'm just, doing what we got to do, like keep distance and only see the people that I'm used to seeing that I know that are keeping themselves, safe. And for now, everything has been going good. I've been able to keep clear from anything and getting contaminated or anything.
So, are you going to the gym or are you doing your workouts at home? Are you going to Serrato MMA?
Yeah, I'm going to Serrato MMA, but I have the key, so I open and only we train over there, and then after we train, before and after we train, we get everything as clean as we can, and yeah, we're doing what we can.
It must kind of suck, you know what I mean? Like you have to do cleaning on top of training. After you trade, you're just probably sick of it by now, right?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely not common, but at the same time, what I like about it is like mentally it makes me stronger because now I know like, oh, I'm working hard because I come here, I clean this place, I train hard, and then I gotta clean it afterwards. And the guys help me out also, so it's kind of cool. It's different, but I know it's not gonna be forever like this, so I'm trying to take the most out of it.
Well, that I guess that's good for you because you've trained, in Brazil at Serrato MMA, for a bunch of camps already. So it's not like it's something that you're just something different. For a lot of fighters, it's different. It's like they don't even get to go to the gym or nothing.
I know. I mean, it has been hard times. For my last fight with Nico Price, that was really different. Most of the training was done at home. Uh, and my strength and conditioning coach, he did not have the facility he has now. So we were doing things like really with those little home weights that you do. Like it was, we were kind of improvising everything. So it was really hard, but I still managed, to get as ready as I could. But for this fight, I feel like I'm like really close to normal. So I managed to have really good camp for this fight.
All right, let's go back to that last fight, UFC Jacksonville. You're an entertainer. That was a very entertaining fight against Nico Price. How weird was it for you with no crowd? Did it, affect you, like, especially at the beginning of the fight to kind of get started? Because I know you get energy from that crowd.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely I knew it was gonna be different, so I mentalized a lot of visualized fighting with no crowd, so that I mentally would know and would be ready for that. I didn't want to kind of get like surprised with it at the moment, and I didn't get surprised. It was really not a big deal. What was interesting about it, like I could hear really well my cornerman, and I could hear Nico's cornerman also really, really well. So like loud and clear. So it was kind of like sparring. And sometimes when I'm sparring, I will listen like to instructions they're giving like to my sparring partner, and I know what he's gonna do. So that was kind of like in the fight as well. I heard sometimes like Nico, they would tell Nico like, "Oh, pressure him now. Don't let him gain space." And then I thought, "Oh, now it's when I'm gonna gain space, because I'm gonna frustrate whatever he's trying to do." So it was definitely different. Uh, it wasn't better than fighting with a crowd. I love having a crowd over there and cheering for me. But there were some good things, like hearing his corner was pretty different, and it worked out for me.
Yeah, I guess that's the positive, but also there's negatives to that, right? Is because the judges, they get to hear everything. They get to hear the corners, and I feel like they get to hear the commentators too. And the commentators, they're not always the best at commentating the fights. They don't really. Sometimes they make mistakes, and the judges can hear that, and I feel like that can have an effect on the decision of the fight. Do you think that could be a problem?
I mean, definitely. I think when we deal with people, like different things can affect different people. So you never know. Maybe a judge or can get affected by that. Maybe he's not. He really doesn't know. He's kind of divided. And if he hears a commentator, oh, I think this guy did better. Maybe that's gonna be, what he's gonna use as the decision maker. So yeah, it is something that can affect. That's why I try not to leave the fights to the judges. I tried that with Nico, and I managed in the last round, and it was such a tough fight. He's a really tough guy, but yeah, it's something we got to watch. Judges are always something you can't predict. You never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, he is a tough guy, man. He took some damage in that fight. Now after the fight, did you stay in Florida or were you right back to Brazil?
No, I was right back to Brazil. Like in this moment, for me, it just makes sense to be around my family. I'm here with my wife. My mom lives here also. All my wife's family lives here. So we're just close to family. We know that they are safe. And if anything happens and we need to help them out, we have the possibility to. And I feel great at home. I just feel good over here in Brazil. So for me, it made sense at this moment to be here.
It's less distractions for you when you're actually in a training camp with having everybody near you, because other guys, they could have distractions with their parents away from them and worried about them and things like that, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I remember back in the day, I used to do most of my training camp in Florida, and I would go alone. Like for my last camps over there, I took my wife with me, and that's totally different. But before, I would be on my own over there, and like I could manage it, but it was kind of like overloading in the sense that I got my family back in Brazil. I don't know how they were doing, and I'm over here training and have to focus on the fight. So for me, it's just more relaxing to be here mentally. I feel better in training. I just feel like I could flow really good.
Now, you're number 12 in the world. You said that you wanted a top 10 guy, top 15 guy next. You've mentioned Anthony Pettis, Jeff Neal, even Nate Diaz. Were there any of those fights, any top 15 guys, discussed with you before you got rebooked with Randy Brown?
I mean, I did throw the name of Anthony Pettis. We tried for that fight, and it didn't work out. I think he might be going down division, so that's kind of nobody knows what's going on. So it wasn't a fight that was going to happen at this moment. And most of those names, like maybe if I decided just to wait and eventually try to get a fight over there, I could. But for me, being active is something really important. I like to fight. I like to compete. I feel like I evolve every single fight. So I wanted to get a fight now in August. That was my time frame. I thought it made sense. And Randy Brown, I was supposed to fight Randy Brown. So I did think he was a good opponent in the sense that he's coming off victories. He's kind of a prospect. People believe that he can be a future guy in the welterweight division. So I could take that momentum, I think that a guy that has that kind of momentum, I could go out there, get a dominant win over him. That sets me up to now I have no other way. I have to fight a top 10. So right now my focus is beating Randy Brown, and I believe that sets me up to a good fight after that.
Do you feel like Randy Brown, he's a guy that will be in the top 15, so you might as well fight him now instead of later because, it's going to help you no matter what?
Yeah, I mean, he's a tough kid. I've seen him watch much before I was scheduled to fight him, and I always thought he had like really good potential. So I do believe like eventually he might be in there. We never know how the fights are gonna go, but if he keeps track, and I think he can be in the top 15. So for me, it made sense. Like I know that he's an up and coming kid. People like his style. He's a long guy. People like to see that kind of style fight. Really slick boxing. So I thought, it's a fight that people watch him. So it makes sense for me to fight him. It's not just like I'm fighting, somebody that's coming in the UFC. He has history in there. He's still not a top 15, but he's a potential guy. So I think it makes sense.
So when you analyze Randy Brown, so stylistically, you really love this matchup. A boxer, a guy that will stand and trade with you. Physically similar to a Jalen Turner.
Yeah, physically really similar. The only difference would be he's an orthodox. Turner was a southpaw. So I think that kind of matches up better. I'd rather fight a orthodox than a southpaw. And what I think of Randy Brown, he's a complete guy. although he's a boxer mainly, like he started in boxing, he has really good wrestling and ground game. So I'm definitely ready for those aspects as well. And I got a ground game on myself, so I think that is a good thing that I could use, especially if he wants to try to fight me on the grappling side. I can throw him some of my tools over there. But I mean, if it takes place on the stand up, for me, it would be great. I love that. That's what I love doing. I have fun striking. And I know that people watching at home love that. And I fight for the crowd. I fight to put on a good show. So definitely, if Randy wants to come out and box, that's gonna be a great show that night.
Where do you feel like the fight will be playing out mostly? You know what I mean? Most likely in the striking, you feel like that's going to be where, it plays out. How do you see, or where do you see the finish coming?
I see Randy as a really intelligent guy, so I think it's gonna start out with the striking. If I start getting the better out of that, I believe he might try to use the grappling and maybe to stall or maybe to get points on taking me down. And that's where I see an opening for maybe submitting him. So I don't know. I'm gonna look for the finish. I believe a submission is a big possibility. But I mean, the fight's gonna go everywhere. He's a striker, but also grapple. So either a knockout or a submission. That's my prediction. I don't try to leave it to the judges, so I won't try it this time either.
You've had 3 Fight of the Night bonuses in 2019, some epic brawls. Do you kind of feel like you need to get away from that, yourself, and kind of get more onto like performance of the night bonuses? You know what I mean? Like Fight of the Nights are great, but then, when you move up the division and get higher in the rankings, like you don't really see Fight of the Nights anymore, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think that I had like last year, I had some tough opponents in the sense that how much they could take. Even with Nico Price this year, I mean, he's such a tough guy. He's a guy that I threw everything at him and he took it and kept on coming. It's not like I was kind of like trying to hit him with some light stuff. I hit him hard and he kept on coming. So, you know, I think that matching brought this Fight of the Nights, and I had to put my heart out there and just fight my way through it. But at the same time, I've been watching a lot of these fights I've had. I've been working on a lot of new things that I want to evolve. I want to become a better fighter, and definitely I'm looking towards the performance of the night and not so much of the Fight of the Nights. But I mean, if the guys can take what I bring, it might have to be a Fight of the Night, because I'm not the kind of guy that is gonna step down. I mean, if the guy steps up, I will step even higher and try to beat him, face to face.
Yeah, that last fight, it should have been Fight of the Night, but they should give out more than one Fight of the Nights. Come on, that fight was crazy.
I mean, yeah, if you put me in a card and you got guys like Gaethje and Tony Ferguson, it's definitely gonna be more than one Fight of the Night.
Will Gilbert Burns be in your corner for this upcoming fight?
Yeah, he's supposed to be. If everything goes fine, he will be there for me. And I'm gonna try to be there for him in his next fight as well. If everything works out, that I don't have a fight scheduled, I can go over there. That's always what I want to do. He's there for me every single time. I want to be there for him every single time. So it has been working really well between us. We just he knows my game really well. So whenever he's in my corner, he can realize what I can do in the fight and let me know. Maybe I'm not thinking about it, and then when I hear from him, oh yeah, that makes sense, and it fits my style. Same thing when I'm cornering him. I'm not thinking about what I could do with my opponent. I'm thinking, oh, what could Gilbert do right now? Oh, Gilbert can do this because I know him so well. So it's really good to have this kind of like corner man with me. Also, not saying that the coaches are super important because they have another side of it, but when you have a fighter in your corner, it's a different kind of view. It's something that is someone that is active. They just know how to give you that information like ready to go.
So you're not gonna have your wife in the corner?
No, I'm not. That was different. I think that works from some guys, and I mean, I like to have my corners. I like to have Gilbert, but my wife, no, she always goes and helps me out with everything. But cornering, I'll leave it for the corners and for Gilbert Burns.
So normally, when you do training camp, you're in Brazil, then you head to Florida, but now Florida is this hotbed for COVID-19. So most likely you're not gonna go there, and you're probably gonna go straight to Vegas, right?
Yeah, I'm going straight to Vegas, so I'm finishing up my camp over here and fly straight to Vegas. I mean, it's the safer route. The least places I could go to, I think is the best right now. If I could just go straight to Vegas, that makes sense for me. So that's what I'm gonna do.
So you go to Vegas, but I feel like the UFC said that they're gonna go to Fight Island again, September, maybe October. So do you plan on like your next fight? I gotta go to Fight Island. That's just something I have to do. It's like bucket list, right?
I don't know, man. I would love to fight over there, but we gotta see. Fighting now in August, we'll see if it's a big fight, if it's a fight that makes sense, and I come out, of this fight 100% feeling good, healthy. Maybe it might happen, but all focus now is on Randy Brown and getting a big win over him, and I gotta see how I'm gonna be after that. If I'm 100% physically, I can make it to fight sooner this year. But I don't know. I do want to put 3 fights. So I'm going to my second fight now. I do want to put 3 fights in this year, but we'll see. We'll see when it's going to be again.
Vicente, thank you, man, so much. August 1st, UFC at the Apex, Las Vegas. Randy Brown, very exciting matchup, man. It's like what matchups are not exciting with Vicente in them, man. Like it's just a normal thing now, I think.
Yeah, man. That was always my goal. I always want people to know when I'm stepping in the cage, it's gonna be, fight of the night, at least potential for fight of the night. At least somebody can do it better, but my fight is gonna be really good and everybody's gonna want to watch it.